Presidential contenders are doing their best Oberlin impressions on the campaign trail. The candidates are in a perpetual contest to take the most radical positions they can on, well, you name the issue. They can win the nomination by winning over the mob. Here's, for example, half a dozen of them coming out in favor of race reparations.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee has proposed a bill to form a commission to study how to do reparations.
When I'm elected president, I decided.
Would you sign that bill?
Yes.
Yes, would you sign it?
The House and Senate passed that bill, of course I would sign it.
I firmly support Congresswoman Jackson Lee's bill to create a commission to study reparations.
Would you sign the bill for reparations?
Yes, I would. I already support that bill.
There are things that we need to do in this country that have been a long time in coming. One of those is to move forward with reparations.
Robert Woodson is a seasoned veteran of the civil rights movement from the 1960s. He's president and founder of the Woodson Institute, and we're always honored to have him on this show. Mr. Woodson, thanks a lot for coming on.
Pleased to be here, Tucker.
So, the question of reparations has been floating around American politics at the edges for many, many decades. But it's reemerged in kind of a mainstream position, which is to say most Democrats running for president seem to support it. What do you make of the idea of reparations for slavery?
I think it's fool's gold. It demeans both whites and blacks. To black Americans, you can monetize oppression. Also, what it does, it set the message to black America is somehow your destiny is determined by what white people do, what white people give you, and not what you're able to do for yourself. And so it's undermining black. And also, Tucker, it's really something that's bannered around by people with six-figure incomes living in gated communities with their children in private schools. When you go into St. Louis, and I was there this weekend, where there are 19 people shot and killed over the weekend, they're not talking about reparations as an answer to that challenge all over the country. So I just think that it's virtue signaling for white candidates and for some white guilty people. It's an easy fix, but it's very crippling to the nation. Very crippling.
So I mean, hypothetically, if we were to get it tomorrow, some reparations scheme, do you think that there would be fewer shootings in St. Louis or Chicago or Baltimore?
No, I don't think so. The very fact that the NFL, where the average salary is like $2 or $3 million, 5 years after they retire, 70% of them are bankrupt. So I'm not so sure if it doesn't work for rich people, what it's going to do for poor people. But again, Tucker, it's a distraction. There's study after study on the black communities conducted by the Joint Center for Political Economics, a liberal black think tank. When black Americans, rank and file, ask, what are the issues most important to you? It's jobs, it's security. Race only shows up 8% in those communities, in those three separate polls. But these people on television, the candidates, pander to the black community, assume that they don't have to speak to the legitimate needs of black America for jobs, for better health care, for neighborhoods that are not being gentrified, but instead they can just pander and walk through the civil rights door. It is pandering, it is insulting to black America, and as I have said, I have suffered my last rich, angry black and my last guilty white person. That's it.
I don't think I've heard it as powerfully expressed as you just did, Mr. Woodson. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Well, there's a serious self-awareness crisis in American journalism, in case you haven't noticed. Probably they haven't noticed, but you